Sleeping alone at night. I don't wanna be right. Loving you is wrong. I don't wanna be right. Loving you is wrong. No, I don't wanna be
Hi everyone, this is Knowledge is Power. I'm Wanda Miller, the host. Well, it's been a wild and woolly probably for the last year, the last week, the last couple of days, and we're finally over everything. And it didn't go as well as everyone hoped. And I'm going to talk about that. First, I'm going to introduce my guests. We're going to do things a little bit differently this week. On my left here, I have Jen Crider, who she used to be the York Volunteer for the Humane Society of the United States, and now she has this big long title. You want to just, because I don't remember all of it.
It's
Jen Crider,
district leader of the 4th Congressional District.
Yeah, I mean, this is really cool. So she's getting really titled there. and then on my far left is Eric Smith, and he should be a familiar face. He's been on before, and he's going to talk a little bit today about an event that he's going to be hosting this Friday and some other things that he is working on. So first, I'm going to go ahead and talk about what happened on Tuesday. And this is a serious topic, and it is a difficult one. As everyone knows, unless you have been completely off the grid or you've been under a rock, Trump won. And it's over. And I have to say, I am angry and I'm disappointed. I'm incredibly disappointed with the American people. I'm disappointed that they would follow someone with his hate mongering. I'm upset because people did write-in votes. A lot of people did write-in votes, or they didn't vote at all. And now we have a president. I even hate to say the word president, because quite honestly, every time I look at him, he triggers me, and all I can see when I look at him is him making fun of someone who's disabled, talking about women in derogatory ways, talking about people of color, building walls, dragging Muslims out of mosques and interrogating them. It is just incredible to me that he could even fathom him winning. It was a complete and total. It was a shock. It was. I think a lot of us are still in shock. I don't understand how so many Americans could buy into someone who is sexist, misogynistic, racist, and hate-mongering. I just don't get it. So, first of all, I want to give, Stinky's been with us for the long haul here, and Stinky definitely goes this week to all those people who didn't vote or voted for, and I heard everything from, they voted for Friends, they voted for Mayor McCheese, they voted for
their pets.
I heard that they also voted for the gorilla that was put down. Yeah. I heard that. Like 5,000 votes apparently went to the gorilla that was put down. I don't understand what the American people are thinking, and it doesn't really instill a lot of faith in society right now. So anyway, and already today I just had 1 o'clock. As I said, today's been off the wall. I've had people ever since the election. I had a friend who called me 12 o'clock that night, crying and just bawling, and she was in bed for a day. She was so devastated by this. I have another friend who wanted to meet up last night and talk about this. I have other friends and people are emailing me and texting, and they want to talk about what to do next. People are angry, people are frustrated, people have no clue what to do. And I got a text from a friend today around 1 o'clock. The York Dispatch, who we have good connections here at Knowledge of Power with the York Dispatch, and Allison Cooper, the editor over there. And apparently now at the York Votech, there's been issues with students carrying Trump signs in the halls with white power on them. There have been students of diversity that feel threatened and scared and have not been going to classes. There have been of students that are white who have diversity in their families who are afraid. It is an issue, and I want to go on record right now and tell all of the Trumpettes out there, all of these people that are filled with hate and anger, that will not be accepted in the York community. Because I can tell you right now what happened with what we did as a community with WASCO, we have no problem doing with York Votech. So if York Votech is not going to address this, we have no problem coming over there and protesting there as well and speaking out. Because it is unacceptable in this day and age that we still have these issues. We should not be judging someone on the color of their skin. We should not be judging someone because of their sexual orientation, because of their religion, because of their skin. And what really makes me angry is you voted for someone who wants to make America great again. What was America built on? America was not built on just white people. America was built on diversity. We have had diversity in our country for so long. We have had people that died to get rights. Women died to be able to vote in the election. Black individuals died to be able to not be segregated and have to use a different bathroom from everyone else. There have been people in the LGBT community that have had horrible things done to them. No one should be afraid in this country. We should not be afraid. We should not have to walk down the street and be afraid in this country. We should be able to love who we want and be involved with who we want and talk to who we want. And one of the things that, I did a lot of canvassing for this election. I didn't do it specifically for one candidate or the other, although, I voted for Hillary, and I'm not ashamed to say that. Was she the candidate of my choice? No, she wasn't. But I was not going to vote for the other guy. So what we did with the canvassing is the group that I was with, we went around and we encouraged people to vote. We explained to them the importance of voting. We tried to get people to go to the polls. We helped them find out if they were registered or not. That's what we did. And one of the places I went to was the Projects, which is over by Jefferson Street. And I have to say, when I drove into the area, and I looked around, and I saw so many people. The majority of people in the projects are people that are not white. They are black. They're Hispanic. They're the diverse people. They're not white. And as I pulled up and I looked around, I have to say I wasn't afraid. I don't want to say that I was afraid, because I was not afraid. But I was uneasy because I didn't know how I was going to be received. And it wasn't that I was scared, and it wasn't that I have this idea that, I'm in this bad neighborhood and I'm going to get shot or raped or killed. That wasn't the issue. The issue was all of these people who are out there, who are holding the sign saying white power, who are saying derogatory things and nasty things and hate things, and are making people of color afraid to come out of their homes or to go to their classes. That's what made me uneasy, is that I would be looked at by someone of color and they wouldn't know. that who am I? Am I one of them? Am I okay to talk to? That's what concerned me, because I don't want people to be afraid of me, and I really, really resent all of those Trumpettes out there who are making it difficult for people like myself, who care about all people, who don't discriminate, who don't look at the color of someone's skin and judge them by that. I really resent that you are now putting this divide between me and people that could be potential friends. I resent that. So anyway, I went into this community, and I have to say, I was well received. People were very nice, and I just want to tell the story of two young women that I talked to. Knocked on one of the doors, two young women, two African-American young women came out, smart, savvy young women, and we had a really good dialogue. We talked about race, we talked about issues, we talked about these difficult subjects, and the thing that the thing that came out of this was, first of all, they are afraid. They are seriously afraid. They are afraid of people in general, the community. They're afraid of what's going to happen. This was before Trump was elected, mind you. They're concerned because they never have police come into their community, so they feel unsafe. The politicians never visit. They don't feel like anybody cares. And they want to do more advocacy work, but they don't know how, because no one's coming in, no one's talking to them, no one's listening. They don't feel like they have a voice. And the one young woman said to me that she feels hopeless. A lot of the time, she just feels hopeless. She feels like no one cares, that she's hopeless, that, this is going to be her life. And I told her, and I wasn't being facetious about her, I told her that, and I didn't know what else to say, so I just said to her simply that not all white people are like that. I shouldn't have to say that. But please don't judge me because of what these people are doing, because these people are walking around carrying signs. I don't want to be a part of that. And I had a discussion today with Allison Cooper, who is the editor of the York Dispatch. And one of the things that I said to her, and again, this is not meant to trivialize the topic, the issue of racism. It's not meant to take away from that issue. But I suggested to her that perhaps we need to start looking at this as a human issue instead of just focusing on it being a black issue. And I'm saying that, again, not to trivialize the subject, but I'm saying that because I think if we start saying that, well, that's your issue, or that's his issue or her issue, that doesn't affect me. It gives people reason not to get involved. And now more than ever, we need to get involved, and we need to support all of the people that walk this earth, not just specific ones. We need to stand up, and we need to stand together, and we will stand together. Black, white, LGBT, Muslim, young, old, man and woman. We will stand together, and we will not be bullied, and we will not give up. And one thing what I want to read to everyone is. This was something that I read when Yasser Ahmad was on a couple months ago. He's a Muslim American, or Muslim man. He's from India originally. And he was on, and we talked about that was when Trump had first came out about going into the mosques and pulling the Muslims out and interrogating them. And we had a discussion about Islam and what Islam really is, and all of the myths and the misunderstandings of the religion. And I read that this day, and I want to read it again today. And then actually there's and I also want to do, while I'm reading this, I want to light my little candle here, because I think we need to light a candle right now, because I think a lot of people are suffering, and a lot of people are going to be hurt over this, and I feel extraordinarily sad about that. So two things I want to read. The first one I want to read is a poem called First They Came, by Pastor Martin Niemöller. And you'll older viewers will probably recognize this, younger viewers may not, but I'm going to read it anyway. First they came for the communists, I did not speak out, because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out, because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me. And there was no one left to speak out for me. So remember that. And the second thing that I want to read is a poem that I absolutely adore and I love, and it's called The Human Family by Maya Angelou. I note the obvious differences. in the human family. Some of us are serious, some thrive on comedy. Some declare their lives are lived as true profundity, and others claim they really live the real reality. The variety of our skin tones can confuse, bemuse, delight, brown and pink and beige and purple, tan and blue and white. I've sailed upon the 7 seas and stopped in every land. I've seen the wonders of the world, not yet one common man. I know 10,000 women called Jane, Mary Jane. I don't have the rest of it. Well, anyway, I want to have time for my guests, so I'll just finish it this way. But I have not seen any two who really were the same. Actually, sorry, that is the right thing. Mirror twins are different, although their features jibe, and lovers think quite differently thoughts, while lying side by side. We love and lose in China, we weep on England's moors, and laugh and moan in Guinea, and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland, are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we differ, in major we're the same. I note the obvious differences between each sort and type, but we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. So please, please be good to each other. And remember, tomorrow is Veterans Day. Go out and support the veterans, hug a veteran, see if you can help them. There are a lot of veterans who are homeless. There are veterans who are committing suicide. Do what you can to make their lives better. And on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Eric and let him talk about his event on Friday.
Thank you very much. Well, I want to talk initially about gentrification because that is the main topic right now regarding the film series that the York College Institute for Civic Arts and Humanities and the York YWCA are coming together to create and sponsor. It is a, let's see, 3 films. One has already happened. That happened in October of this year, called Documented. It was about illegal immigrants in America and how they are contributing people who have families here and things like that, and how we can better understand their situation. Tomorrow, the topic is revitalization without gentrification, and the film will be Gentrifying Not, a movie about gentrification in Baltimore. We will have the filmmaker Drew Lombardi there, as well as some other people. I'll be facilitating that. We will have York professors there, as well as people from the community who have a lot to say about gentrification. Gentrification is as big of a word as it is, has become a 4-letter word for a lot of people, especially those who are negatively affected by it. And it crosses racial lines. Really, it toes the line of socioeconomic status. But as we know, many people of low socioeconomic status in this country are, minority. So it does seem to be a disproportionately minority-centered situation, but it really can affect various people under a certain socioeconomic line. So we want to talk about that tomorrow. The film starts at 6 p.m. at the Strand Capitol, which I believe is 50 North George Street. Am I getting that right? There's nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can easily Google Strand Capitol. Doors open at 5:30. There will be a filming at 6, and after the film, which is about 1 hour long, we will have a panel discussion about gentrification and how we can apply what we learned from that documentary to what's going on in York. So I hope you will join us, and hopefully I can be on again to promote the next film, which will be putting a halt to the preschool to prison pipeline. And we will have the filmmaker for that as well, Hakeem Rashid of Howard University. The film is actually called Strange Fruit Redux, and it will be about how many minority students are, in essence, trained and tracked to become criminals and convicts. That is definitely a reality in New York City, so it's something we need to talk about. So I hope you will join us. If we can
Yeah, can you
zoom in on this.
zoom in on that, Ace, for him? Thank you.
If
It
Okay, well, if you can see that at all,
it
there you
lags a
go.
little bit.
Relax a little bit. Okay. All right. So the middle portion is tomorrow's information. But if you're on Facebook, if you have friends on Facebook in New York City, and you see this emblem, all right, this one right here, then you know it is about the YWCA / York College film series about issues going on in the inner cities, especially York, but not all the films will pertain specifically to York, but they are all about issues that are relevant to York City. So please attend.
And I can also add, too, that there is parking.
Yes.
I believe after 5 o'clock, parking's free, so
Yes.
there is parking, so that's not an excuse for anyone. And Allison Cooper from the York Dispatch, they're going to be there, and I'm hoping that most of the members of the Dispatch, the member advisory board, will be there as well. And if there are any questions, you can send them to kempowered@gmail.com, and I can pass them on to Eric. So
Okay.
Eric can, if there's questions that they have for you.
Okay. I want to do a plug for one more
Sure.
thing that
Take your time.
York College, the Institute for Civic Arts and Humanities, and YWCA are also partnering to create a series of advocacy workshops. Advocacy means having a voice for either oneself or for others who don't have a voice of their own. So initially in May we did just an introduction to what advocacy is. In July, we did a writing for advocacy, op-eds, letters to editors, letters to public officials, things like that. In September, we did armchair activism about doing online social media activism. And on Tuesday of this month, we will be doing community activism. Just advice on getting out there, engaging your community, creating groups that can do good work for people. There will be a workshop on how to do that, how to get things started, how to create groups, forums, how to have discussions and things like that. Especially relevant now that, so many people are distraught about the, political climate of this country, let alone of York and York City. So people can come together and figure out the best way to handle that and to move forward. And in December, we'll have messaging through the arts, December 13th, in which we will talk about how to, present messages in various different ways, not just in writing, but in art, again, social media, various ways of creating messages about social justice and things like that. All these take place Tuesdays from 6 to 8. The next one, community activism, will be November 15th, this Tuesday, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the messaging through the arts will be December 13th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So I hope you join us for that as well.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about and plug, or?
Nothing else to plug. I think
Okay.
you said it all when it came to, this week's miasma of depression. For many, for others, they're quite happy. But the backlash that's going on is very unfortunate. And, what we need to do right now is what we needed to do the whole time, build bridges in some way, shape, or form. Some people don't want to build bridges, and that is an issue, but there are people out there who are willing to, be listened to and to kind of reach their hands across the aisle. That's the best bet right now. We need to try our best to get that going. I will begin a radio show on community radio, York Community Radio 106.1, called Building Bridges, in which I'll have people on to discuss what they're trying to do to add bricks or cement to this bridge and to build it one piece at a time. So look out for that. Maybe I'll be on the show again to plug that. But that's where I am right now. I just I am very upset. I am distraught. However, I don't want to be, inert in any of this. I want to keep moving, and I think the best way to move forward is to move together. So that's where I am right now. And now I'm done. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I do have to get going.
Okay.
I have to plan other things.
Yeah.
For
Eric's a very busy man.
Yes, but thank you very much for having me on the
You're
show.
welcome. Anytime, I think
Okay.
it's important for us to, as people that are dispersing information, I think it's important for us to also collaborate and join and share and not
And start building that bridge
right
together.
Yes.
and not to exist in vacuums. Oh, you're my competition. We need to get away from that.
Yes.
And to work together.
Indeed.
Yes. So thank you, Eric.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
And I will see you on Friday.
Yes.
It was very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Goodbye. Okay. Well, after all that, after all that really heavy discussion, you'll recognize my guest, I'm sure, from, it wasn't very long ago, maybe about a month or so
A
ago.
month or two, yeah.
Jen was here, but Jen was here with her partner in crime.
Yes, the director.
Yeah, the director, yes, the big cheese.
The big cheese.
Yeah, Kristen Tulo. It's been a long day. Kristen Tulo. And Kristen is, she's not here in person, but she's with us in spirit, and she has, again, organized the show wonderfully for us. So we know exactly what we need to talk about. And you can see our background this week is what we're going to talk about. And Jen, do you want to explain what's happening? And this is coming up Monday,
November the 14th.
Okay.
Unfortunately, HB 869, which commonly is known as Libre's law, it passed through the Senate, but never made it to the House floor for vote before they ended session. That's the unfortunate part. We do have one last slim chance to get it brought up on the House floor for vote, which will be November the 14th. We're having a rally at the Capitol from 10:30 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. We found that our legislation listens more if you come out in numbers.
Yes.
So we're expecting a huge crowd to be there because there's a lot of animal advocacy out there. There's a lot of animal lovers out there. So many people are disappointed and they're frustrated that their voice was not heard. Their voice on behalf of the animals that this law could save. I know I was personally very, very angry. Probably did not voice my opinion in the correct political sense.
Sometimes you have to
Yes,
just say it as it is.
Exactly. In case people do not know, the reason why I never made it to the House floor was because the NRA stepped in. And the NRA controls a lot of our Republican
So
legislators.
What do they have to do with animal? Or the
Higgins pigeon shoots. They were afraid that in HB 869 it would include the Higgins pigeon shoots. So that's why it got shot down. Even though it did not include the Higgins pigeon shoots, it never made it to the floor. I shouldn't say it got shot down. It never made it to the floor because of that. Once the NRA got this certain kind of language out of HB 869, it was good to go. They then supported it, but it still was never called up by our House people. Unfortunately, I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head.
I have, courtesy of Kristen, I was sent, she said, here's a suggested format. So Kristen, I'm just going to read what you wrote, or you sent me, so we don't forget anything, and
Right.
so Jen doesn't get in trouble later. I will say, though, that this is, I hate to say this is a pretty common thing that happens with
Yes.
legislation.
Yes.
Not just with this particular legislation. There has been legislation, you're the third person now, third group that's been on this show that's had this happen to them. I had Kristen Woolley on from Turning Point. Well, she was early in the show's beginning, she was on. They were trying desperately to pass this legislation that would allow victims of childhood sexual assault to be able to sue civilly up until the age of 50.
Oh, wow. That would've been great.
Same issue as you had. Gets really close and then, put aside.
Right.
I had a few weeks ago, Sarah Keister, I believe Keister, and one of her staff members, LaQuinn, from Covenant House, that just opened up.
Yes.
They deal with human trafficking. They do have homeless teens, and with teens that have been human trafficked. They were trying to pass legislation that would have allowed kids up until the age of 18 who have been human trafficked, that they would not be arrested for this. They would not be held accountable for whatever they did.
Because it's not their choice.
Exactly, because they were forced into it.
Right.
It was up until the age of 18. It wasn't, above that. It was up until it was child. Nope, same thing. So, legislators, we just had an election.
And a lot of them were re-elected back in the position.
Yeah, and this is why when you vote, you do not vote for gorillas and friends.
Exactly.
And you don't just stay home and watch whatever on TV.
Your vote does count.
It does. Votes count.
A couple years ago, I would have been the same way some of these people are.
Yeah.
I was not in the political world. I wasn't in the actual politicalness of even animal advocacy until the past couple of months. But I realized the only way to change anything that you truly feel needs to be changed in your heart, the only way to change it is becoming political and is to be able to get your voices heard. And the only way you can do that is at the polls or to show up at peaceful rallies. I'm not talking doing hateful protests or anything like that. Peaceful rallies. That's what gets people's attention. What I would like to see is the media coverage to go towards more of the peaceful rallies instead of the outrage protests. It doesn't bring in the audience on TV, so that's why they do that. But there are so many different organizations that have a huge following that try to get legislation passed, and they can't because someone is there to block it. Now, I'm all for the right to bear arms. I'm all for that. But in my rant on Facebook, and hopefully Kristen will not get mad at me, I basically stated who is the NRA to be able to buy votes. If they want to be able to shoot down a piece of legislation, then they need to go hold a position that they can do that. They should not be allowed to just buy votes. They might pay for our legislation's campaigns, but we, the people, are the ones that vote them in. So we are their bosses.
Exactly.
We just need to speak up, stand together, and work as a group, because that's where it makes a difference.
And this is legislation that, although and I've talked to both of these ladies about this, and I really support. The only issue that I have, and I'm just a little bit hesitant about the legislation, is I'm just concerned that because I've known people in the mental health community that have unintentionally had to leave an animal, and then they've gotten cited for it. But that's really not what this is about.
No, HB 869 is not about that.
That's really an issue for the local SPCAs and the humane leagues to be handling, and that goes back to training for the humane officers.
Right.
And there is, I don't know if you know this, I did send you an email, but everything's been so crazy. We have a group, and I'm not sure all the details, I didn't make it to the meeting, I want to follow up on this. There's a group that is trying to do hoarding, training for hoarding.
Yes.
among the different, which I'm so happy they're doing this, because I've been saying this all along. We need to have mental health training, not just for police officers, but for all of these services,
Right.
social agencies, humane officers.
Absolutely.
Because, why should somebody be, there was an incident, maybe I'm speaking about Veterans Day tomorrow, it was a couple months ago, maybe last year. There was a woman vet who was in a car with, I don't know, like 40 animals.
Oh my.
And someone, I think she went into the hospital, and she told someone that these animals were there. They went out and they got the animals. They didn't cite her. They knew that she needed help.
Right.
And that's the way it should be.
Right.
That is a whole different situation than someone who does what
Intentionally.
exactly with Cordelia's law,
Right.
where there was I don't even want to call him a gentleman.
Right.
There was this person who overburned a horse. The horse fell, and I'm telling this right, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
The horse fell. He beat the horse to death because the horse couldn't get up, and he beat the horse to death. That is animal abuse, and that should be stopped.
Absolutely.
And I remember as a kid, my dad I remember him almost breaking in a car window with a dog that was in the heat.
Right.
These are the issues that I don't understand why we still have them in 2016.
Exactly.
I don't get it. But
Exactly.
because before we get too far, Kristen, I'm going to be your voice and read what you sent me here, if I can pull it up. And it's let me see here. I just lost it.
Well, while you're looking for it,
Go
I'll
ahead.
just go over some of the top
Okay.
points of HB 869. HB 869 is actually like a package deal. What they did was they took a couple different acts and pulled them together to try to make it more of an impact for our animals. So one was an anti-tethering law, which obviously means dog can't be tethered outside for long
Yeah.
periods of time.
Go on Princess Street, you'll see one.
Exactly. I see it all the time. People complain all the time. The police really can't do too much about it because there's nothing in the law. HB 869 would help with that. It does allow up to 8 hours to be tethered, but in extreme weather, only 20 minutes at a time. So that, the extreme heat, the extreme cold, only 20 minutes to be allowed out on a tether.
They should have the tether long enough too that they can actually lay down.
Yes, and I believe it also says about some shelter for them as well.
Okay.
And then, of course, Libre's law is part of the HB 869.
Libre.
Libre, yes,
Yeah,
Libre.
Libre.
Beautiful Libre.
Yeah, and we have some pictures then too that we'll get to
Right.
as I go through Kristen's talking
thing.
point. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Super organizer Kristen, we love
She's
her.
awesome. She's awesome. So Libre's law increases penalties for heinous and animal abuse. And then the third thing would be Cordelia's law, which includes protection for horses, because currently there's really no protection for horses out there.
I think we actually have a picture of.
We do have a picture of HSUS mascot Penn.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you put the picture up there of Penn Ace, the horse? The horse, of course.
Penn was actually saved from the slaughter house over in New Holland by HSUS.
Horrible place.
It's a terrible
And
place.
it's been. I remember as a kid, it was going on even then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of these things are very hard to stop, just like the pigeon shoots. It's been 30 plus years. People have been trying to get an end to the pigeon shoots, and it hasn't happened yet. So the same thing goes with the slaughterhouse. But Penn was lucky enough to have been
Oh.
saved. He's a beautiful horse.
Yeah, and I actually saw they had a little news story about this on 21, I believe.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I'm such a nerd. I'm watching, and Kristen comes on like, she's been on my show. But beautiful. The horses are gorgeous, gorgeous.
They are.
And I want to get Kelly Smith.
Yes.
I want to try to get Kelly on the show.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah. We also like to get Senator Alloway on the show.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
awesome.
So.
He is awesome.
Okay, let's see what we have here from Kristen. All right, this is what Kristen says. Go over the HB 869 fact sheet. Use photo of Libre Superman. Do we have? Can you put little Libre? Did that one load, Ace? The Superman.
I think so.
Libre in the Superman outfit. We can. So we have Penn's picture on his. Can you find is Libre there?
Libre is a little Superman, let me tell you. A little super
Yeah.
dog, I should say.
Yeah, there we go.
There
That's
we go.
him.
That's
There he
little
is.
Libre.
Yeah. And Libre, when you were on last time,
Mm-hmm.
I loved what you said, and we talked about this after the show. I said it on the show as well. I love that you said, "Don't ever doubt that one person
Right.
cannot make a difference."
Exactly.
And I wanted to hug you for that because that's like one of my soapboxes.
Yes.
And this little guy proves it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just that one person. It just takes that
Yeah.
one person, that one voice.
That little guy absolutely proves it. We also have 2 slides here for HB 869, and it includes a video by Lucy Noland. Can you see if you can get that up for us? The video, I don't know. We had some we have issues sometimes loading some of these things depending what format they come in through. We're still it's cable TV, folks, so and it's live, and we don't get paid for this.
That's
so.
right. It's all volunteer work.
Okay.
So there's the picture of Kristen,
Okay.
Jane Gudo, and Jessica Blau.
Okay. Well, while Ace is trying to find that video, let me talk a little bit about these other talking points, and Jen, you can chime in here. It's Kristen says that if you're on social media, you can find info below, which is who is the most loved lobbyist in Harrisburg? Little Libre.
Mm-hmm.
Worked tirelessly in the PA House last week to advance HB 869. Remember the name of that bill, right? It's back behind us. You can take the picture down now, Ace. You don't have to. No. The most comprehensive animal protection bill in the history of PA, according to Governor Wolf. Despite a majority of support in the House, opposition prevented a vote on the bill, which Jen just talked about. The Senate did their part to move forward this legislation, but we still have work to do getting it through the House. Now, she goes on to say, and by the way, you say the voters are watching. Well, Stinky's watching too, legislators.
Exactly.
And if you don't want a Stinky Skunk Award, because Stinky has a fan club, is developing a fan club here. People really like Stinky. They don't, I'm not really of any consequence, but Stinky's great. Stinky went to the voting polls with me too.
Did he?
Yeah,
Wonderful.
Yeah, Stinky.
Good job,
yeah,
Stinky.
Yeah,
Good job.
He wrote in Bernie, and I didn't have the heart to tell him that as a skunk he can't vote.
Right.
But
Oh, you just left him do it.
I just left him. Yeah, I left him do it. It made him feel good. So, so it says it is vitally important to contact your state representative. Well, our state representative here is Representative Schreiber, so we know he's on our page. So
Right. And
you
so
know,
is Carol Hill Evans.
and Carol,
the elect.
yeah,
Yes.
she's Carol, and Carol did win, thank goodness.
Yes.
And she's not on board yet, but she's coming in, and I told you Carol would be wonderful.
Yes.
I would have been surprised if she wouldn't have supported you guys.
Right. She is absolutely backed by Humane PA.
Yeah, she is
Yes.
a sweet person. It says it is vitally important to contact your state representative and ask them to encourage House leadership to run the bill on November 14th. We have very strong support for this bill. 100% of Democrats and approximately 50% of Republicans support it. Reps have stated that visits to their district offices to meet in person as an individual or as a group, 2 to 6 people. Prior to the potential vote on November 14th, direct phone calls and personalized emails are very attention-getting, and that's 100% true.
It is 100% true.
I was up in September tour up at the Capitol with the group for Housing is Health, the Housing and Health Coalition, to get Medicaid dollars to fund supported housing services,
okay.
so more people can be housed, so they can get more
Wonderful.
stable and be productive citizens. And we all worked in groups, and they tried to have one client in each group. So your personal stories really do matter.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
And again, you want to do this politely.
Yes.
You want to request their support.
Yes.
You don't want to be angry by any means.
Yes.
So make sure that you are polite.
That's a very good point. Be respectful.
Absolutely.
You get more flies with honey or vinegar.
Absolutely. I didn't
So-
used to believe that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do now.
I didn't either. I've been, I was told by some people that I didn't really work with them, but I volunteered with or had interaction with, and there were several times where I was taken by the arm and said, you just look crazy when you yell.
Yeah.
So, you live and learn.
Right.
So it says also, prior to the potential vote on November 14th, which I will be in State College, so unfortunately I won't be able to join you guys, but I will be there in spirit. Direct phone calls are important.
Mm-hmm.
Personalized emails are very attention-getting. And then she has
Twitter,
a link here.
everything.
Yeah, she has a link to find the legislator's contact, but you can go online. I'm sure you can find that. There's plenty of ways to find that. It says also, please contact House leaders Dave Reed to thank him for his support of HB 869.
Yes.
And ask that he continue doing everything he can to get the bill up for a vote on November 14th. Then contact Mike Tucci.
Yes.
Tucci. And politely, I'm going to hold stinky here, Mike. Politely ask that he bring this bill up for vote on November 14th. Because Stinky's watching as well as the voters, Mike.
Right.
So, yeah.
And Mike is the one that did not bring it up
Yeah.
for the vote
Yes.
before
Yes.
they went out.
That's why we're talking about you, Mike.
Yeah.
Just Stinky's waiting.
A lot of disappointed people.
Yes, I'm sure. His contact information is, you can look this up online, but his district office phone is 412-369-2230. His Capitol office phone is 717-772-9943. If anybody wants to contact him, contact me. I actually had somebody email me last week and ask me a question, so the email works, people. You can email me, the account's valid. You can email me and I can pass on this information to you if you want to contact any of these people.
You can even contact me as well.
Yes, I can forward it on to Jen.
Yep.
And Jen's easy. It's Honey Girl.
Honey Dog.
Honey Dog.
With 2 G's.
Honey Girl's the Facebook. Honey
Yes,
Dog.
honeydog2013@gmail.com.
Very easy to remember. And then PA Representative Dave Reed, and this is the person that you want to thank, right?
Yes.
House Majority Leader, and his district phone is 724-465-0220. And the Capitol office phone is 717-705-7173. And we already had the picture up here of Kristen and Janine and
Jessica.
And Libre's mom.
Yes.
We had that up there. And they are planning a rally on the 14th. Finally, and it says finally, a rally is to be held on the steps of the Capitol building on November 14th to urge support of the bill. We are asking everyone to attend the rally to let lawmakers know you support this historic legislation. We need to make this happen. And you can find, where can they find the rally information?
You can go to Justice for Libre's page
Okay.
on Facebook. They'll have it, as well as LCAC
Okay.
Facebook page will have it as well.
LCAC.
Yes, Lancaster County Animal Coalition.
Okay.
It's a new shelter that's trying to open up over in Lancaster
Okay.
due to Libre.
Good, it's great.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
wonderful.
that's great.
It's wonderful, and they need all the support that they can get. They have a heck of a down payment that they have to make in
Wow.
order to open a shelter. I think it's $85,000 that they need to have before they even try to open it, and they're about halfway there.
Yeah. Hook 'em, have 'em come on the show.
I will let her know.
Let 'em know.
And that is Jessica in the picture.
Let them know. I have some dates in December.
I'll let her know. I'll
So,
let her know.
that's
Yes,
great.
because she's playing a very important role in this entire Libre case.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
It sounds
absolutely.
real good. So he says, if not on social media, if it says rally info here, okay. If not on social media, the rally is being held November 14th between 10 and 1 p.m. on the Capitol steps in Harrisburg.
Yes, and bring signs, bring posters.
Yes, respectful.
They can be. They're asking, like with Honey. I'm going to bring Honey's bad pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And put them on a poster, and we're supposed to put on there, I am a voice, I am the voice for whoever your animal is. And they're trying to get everyone that's coming in the state of Pennsylvania, because there's a lot of people coming in from out of town for this rally. So we figured the more we can show these politicians, this is what they would be helping, maybe more of an impact if they can see what kind of animal abuse is going on in our state. So they're asking for people to bring their...
And let's talk a little bit. We're talking about animal abuse, so let's talk a little bit about, because I think this is, let me make sure I have, you're also supposed to talk about Bark's event on Saturday with Janine and Libre. Let's do that first. And then
Okay. Bark is holding their Christmas Bazaar at Dover Area Community Center.
Okay.
On
I know where that is.
November... the 19th.
I don't think she has that on here.
It's November the 19th.
Kristen, for someone so well organized, I forgot the date.
I should know this since I'm part of BART. It's November 19th from 12 to 5 p.m.
Okay.
Excuse me. Little Libre will be making a guest appearance. So please come out if you want to meet Libre. Honey will also be there. And then Quinn, the blind pig bull, will also be there. So we're having like 3 famous pooches there at the event. So it's a wonderful event. It helps West York Bark, who helps the community within York County, not just York City, not just in West York, York County Needy Pets. It'll be our kickoff for our Needy Pet Drive campaign. Last year, Bark fed 187 needy pet families for Christmas. And it included dog food, cat food, litters, all kinds of pet supplies. Sometimes we even get into the human family aspect of it, depending on what kind of situation they're in. We might provide them the Christmas tree or their Christmas dinner or something like that as well. So, but November 19th from 12 to 5 at Dover Community Center is our Christmas Bazaar.
And that's great, because you have that. You want to keep the animals and the people together. It's not that nobody wants to see them separate.
Right.
And I think, because I went through that illegal eviction in 2012, and I see there's a lot of services that have started in that time period between 2012 and now.
Right.
And I'm so encouraged by it, because if they had, I wouldn't have lost my babies.
Right.
I would have been able to hold on to them.
Right.
And that was so devastating, and it's
I
still
bet it was.
devastating.
I bet it was.
And you can't imagine. Anyone who's been through it understands it.
Right.
But if you haven't been through it, and they're my children.
That's how mine are.
They kept me alive. They literally kept me alive. There's so many times that I was so depressed and suicidal, I would have just ended it.
Right.
But because I had them to take care of, I stayed around.
Right.
So I try to think of them as my little angels.
Right. And they are.
They were my angels in my life at that time.
Right.
To keep me here.
Right.
So, and we're both going to cry, and that's
Yes,
fine.
we are.
And that's fine.
Yes,
So
we are.
anyway, let's go on to, because Ace is giving me the 10-minute warning there, and we still have time.
Okay.
We were talking about this legislation, and I want people to understand that this isn't just existing in a vacuum. It isn't just about animal abuse. Animal abuse is connected to so many different things.
Yes.
And one of the things that Jen and I talked about, we talked about it on the last show, we've talked about it a little bit before the show today, she was actually educating Eric on it, is the fact that dog fighting is connected with human trafficking.
Yes.
And in January is going to be I believe it's National Human Trafficking Awareness Month. I'm working with the YWCA. I've asked Jen to come back on.
Absolutely.
The people from Covenant House, Dr. Sherry Kim. We're working together in a collaborative effort to have that month as a series of shows on human trafficking because it's
Right.
such a big issue, but it's not talked about.
Right.
It's like a dirty little secret.
Right,
Nobody
and
talks
it's
about it.
very, very underground. It's very hard to detect, almost just like dogfighting is. And it's, we've got to educate each other on it. I can educate you on the dogfighting, you can educate me on the human trafficking, and then we can go out together and educate everyone on both of them, because they are both so underground that we need to come out in a force for both of them.
So you were telling Eric that it was human trafficking, dog fighting, human trafficking,
And
connected to
pedophilia.
Okay.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about that connection, and what you're doing education programs too for that? Is that what you do?
I do
Or-
PowerPoint presentations
Okay.
for the signs of dogfighting.
Okay.
Dogfighting
Talk about that a
paraphernalia.
little bit.
It's a division of BARC. It's called Honey's Raid, Raising Awareness in Dogfighting. And of course, Honey is my dog. And we go out to anyone that wants to listen for free. And we educate the community on the signs of dogfighting, all the dogfighting paraphernalia, whom to report it to, what the dog laws are for dogfighting. So we've been out at Somerset County Probation, Children and Youth. We've been at York County's probation office. We've been over at Franklin Marshall College just as last week. So we offer free presentations for grown-ups on the children aspect of it, because our feeling is you can start trying to stop this more if you teach children at a young age how to care for and respect animals. So we actually do Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and like elementary schools and stuff like that on that. So they're not taught the dog fighting aspect of it or anything like that. But years ago, I went to an HSUS class up in Harrisburg, and they were the ones that taught us the different links between the pedophilia and the human trafficking and the dog fighting and the illegal gambling and the illegal firearms. And right now, off the top of my head, because it wasn't on the agenda, I cannot for the life of me
okay.
remember how they came about putting those links together.
Well, I'm kind of bringing this up too because I want you to talk about Honey's Raid.
Oh, okay.
And the benefit.
The benefit of Honey's Raid is
the right. You're going to have a benefit for
we
them
are
in December.
December
See how this
December
links
7th. I
together?
see that now.
See,
See, I'm a
snuck
little
that in
slow.
there.
It's the end of the day. Let me tell you, it's the end of the day. Our benefit is at the Harrisburg Comedy Zone. It's actually the old Doc Holidays on December the 17th. The tickets are $20. Now, unfortunately, our time is 10:30 p.m. and it's a 90-minute show, comedy show, and it's Mike Egan, I believe, is his name.
Ace almost fell in his chair.
Caught me off guard.
Yeah, Ace is. Ace is still recovering from the Trump thing too. Because,
Exactly.
You know, Ace is a person of diversity. He's concerned. So
He is. And it's good to see
Yeah.
our younger generation concerned.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But,
But don't tell him that; it'll get his foot head.
That's true. That's true. He's a wonderful kid, let me tell you. The tickets for the event are $20, and all proceeds for the sale of the tickets comes to Honey's Raid. So there's 250 seats, $20 a ticket. We could raise $5,000
Wow.
for this organization. In turn, any kind of donations we get, we redonate back out to dog fighting survivors. Some people want to call them victims. I don't like to call them victims. They're survivors of a heinous crime.
Most, that's the trend. That's really the I think that has really flipped, and not just in that
Respect,
in that
right.
respect, but I know, I had a peer specialist tell me that at one point. She used to think of herself as a victim. Now she thinks of herself as a survivor.
Exactly. There's
So,
no such thing as
yeah.
a rape victim anymore.
Yeah.
They're rape
Yeah, and
survivors.
that's a much positive way to look at it.
Absolutely,
More
absolutely.
empowering.
Exactly. So every dollar that we do raise does not come to any of our volunteers, does not actually come to our organization for paper or projectors or anything like that. It strictly goes to the animals throughout the United States. We're not big enough yet to send any money across the sea to the ponds, across the pond or anything like that. But since December of last year, we have roughly given out $3,000 so far, and that's usually about $100 a dog is usually what we give out, and that helps with their medical treatments, rehabilitation, training. You know, try to get them. A lot of these dogs are not acclimated with living on the outside
They're
world.
not socialized.
They're not socialized. They're not used to humans, or what they are used to human touch is abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get them reassessed and trusting
Yeah.
again. So that's what our donations go to. So we'd be able to help lots and lots and lots of dogs
Yeah.
if we could raise that kind of money.
That's really great.
It is great.
It's great.
We're very proud of it. We're very
Yeah.
proud of it.
And we did have, unfortunately, we had the post and Ace is, I think, giving me the one. I never can tell. Sometimes Ace is like, wait, what? You know, he gives me all these hand signals and I have to try to figure it out. So, yeah, it looks like we have 1 minute left. So, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you for having
coming
us
on. I hope this thing passes
I
on
hope
Monday.
so too. I'm praying.
Everyone out there, make sure that you call these legislators, representatives, and, for Mike, Skunk, Stinky's watching.
Absolutely.
Voters are watching.
Absolutely.
It's time that we start passing this legislation and not have things, and not just this legislation, but all these worthy legislation needs to be passed
Absolutely.
in a timely manner, because people, and in this case animals, are suffering.
Yes.
So I want to thank you again for coming
Thank you.
on.
Thank you for having us.
I know we're coming down on time. I just want to again encourage everyone to be kind to each other.
Absolutely.
And
Be respectful.
Be respectful. And hopefully we can get through this together with the support. So until next week, bye.
Bye.